Welcome to the Fantasy Beer League, where you get half-decent advice from half-decent guys. I'm your host, Sean Joyce. With me, as always, is I Am Legend hater Justin Giel.
When the hell did I say that?
With your dog. You said you can't watch the movie because you have a
true.
dog.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
It's
Awesome movie.
fucking ending. I hate it.
Hater.
It's terrific.
And our resident fantasy football expert, Matthew Senni. Justin, how did it feel to see Eric Ebron score his first touchdown of the year?
I have never cheered more for the Steelers, and I've seen them win 2 Super Bowls.
Yeah? Senni, is there any grievances you'd like to air out before we get into this podcast?
I mean, I was frustrated, I guess, because I needed the Ravens to come up big with a lot of field goals and extra points. But honestly, I'm just happy they lost more so than getting the points.
For those unaware, Senni needed 11 points from Justin Tucker on Monday night, and he finished with 9.
Which is still great.
Yeah, it's a pretty good day from a kicker, but just short. So, Senni, let's figure out what your punishment's going to be today.
Hot day water. Oh, hot dog water.
Hot dog. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No.
I've
hot
escaped
day.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not that bad.
You're gonna do it?
Yeah, I'll do it.
All right. So Senni has to drink hot dog water, which is basically just the nasty juices from the hot dogs that pour into the boiling water. We're gonna let it cool off. We're not gonna make him drink boiling water.
You sold that so well, though. The water that comes off of the hot dog.
The water that's just filled with the remnants of lips and assholes. Let's get into some football. Starting with the Ravens at the Washington football team. The football team is still struggling to find their footing offensively, but at least Terry McLaurin and Dwayne Haskins seem to be in a bit of a rhythm and clicking with each other lately. We saw a bit of that Antonio Gibson pop we've been waiting for, but this backfield is still too crowded. They don't score enough points. There's too many cooks in the kitchen, so to speak. Mm-hmm. So I can't justify starting any of them against the Ravens. The Ravens' offense looked good. It didn't look good. I'm sorry. They fell flat against the Chiefs on Monday night, and Lamar Jackson did not look like himself. Mark Andrews has been struggling the past couple of weeks, and there's yet to be a star performance from any team, any player on this team, and no fantasy superstardom so far. Are you nervous about this Ravens offense, Justin?
I think it's going to take them a little while. They did play a good team, so that was kind of, in my opinion, that was to be expected. They were going to fall a little bit flat, but I don't think I'm super nervous. Yeah,
I expect they'll get it together against the football team.
Yeah.
I picked them to win big.
Yeah, going Ravens.
Yeah, I'll go with Baltimore.
Okay. I never for a second doubted James Conner. He has looked great in his last 2 games. I expect that to continue against the Titans when they play the Steelers this week. If they play the Steelers this week. The Titans had a bit of a corona outbreak. From what I've heard, the NFL is still planning on putting this game on. The contingency plan is to play Monday night if they're unable to play Sunday, which I still think is fucking crazy. But should they play, here are the players that we like. Titans have given up 30 points each of the last 2 weeks. So I do think James Conner is a good play yet again this week. Deontay Johnson left last week's game early with a concussion. If he were to miss this game, Justin, is there any other Steelers receiver other than Juju, obviously, who you think stands to benefit from a fantasy perspective?
Not too much. Ben seems to like Washington a lot, so maybe as a deep flex. But really, I mean, then you have Claypool as a deep threat. But really, I don't think there's anybody noteworthy.
If I were desperate, I think Claypool is the one I would start.
Yeah.
They throw those deep shots to him a lot. So
he throws a deep ball well too.
And I think he's the most likely to score a deep touchdown against the Titans. Let's move on. We'll talk about the Titans here. Titans offense has been cooking this season. Matching up with Pittsburgh is never good for your running backs, but I think Derrick Henry is still Derrick Henry. I wouldn't think about benching him at all. I think he's going to have another great day. The volume for him is just unreal. That's always what I'm chasing in fantasy football, the guy that gets the most work, and he has at least 25 carries in each game this year, which is ridiculous.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Jonnu Smith has had a great start to this season, and because of the position's shallowness, I do think that he should be rostered and started in most leagues. This is a little bit of a tough matchup. You saw the Steelers shut down Evan Ingram. Noah Fant had an okay day against them, but I would cautiously proceed. But because there aren't many better options, I do like Jonnu Smith this week as well. I'm sticking with the Steelers, but I think this game is going to be close.
Yeah, they usually play the Titans pretty close, so I'm still gonna stick with the Steelers as well.
Yeah, I think it's going to be tough, but I'm going with Pittsburgh.
All right. Next up, the Los Angeles Chargers at Tampa Bay. Justin Herbert is a major boost to the Chargers offense. In week 3, Keenan Allen and Austin Eckler crushed.
Yep.
Allen brought in 13 receptions on 19 targets, and Eckler totaled 11 catches to go along with his 59 rushing yards. Both are must-starts for me going forward as long as Herbert is at the helm. We saw Eckler get most of the running back work once LA had to play from behind. I still think Joshua Kelly is a solid flex. It has to be the right matchup, I think.
Yeah.
I think this is a pretty high-scoring game, which would benefit Eckler's skill set more than Kelly's. So I'm fading Kelly a bit. I still think he's a flex, but I don't expect him to get the kind of carries that we saw against Kansas City when they were in the game for the entire time. Brady and the Bucs lived up to the hype for mere moments on Sunday, but sputtered a bit in the second half. Mike Evans had the elusive stat line of 2 catches for 2 yards and 2 touchdowns.
What a fucking line.
What a day.
Wasn't enough. So.
This is a tough matchup for the wide receivers, so I temper expectations out of him and Godwin should he be able to play. Right now he's nursing a hamstring injury. I'm not sure that he's going to be able to go. But any week they're playing, I would start them without hesitation. Ronald Jones, too, led the team in touches week 1 week after we thought Lenny Fournette took over the starting job. What do you make of this backfield, Justin?
I really have no idea.
Yeah.
It's so frustrating to watch just because from a fantasy perspective, you don't know who to go with.
Right. I agree.
And yeah, I really have no idea. If I had anybody from the team, I wouldn't know whether to start them because I'm not sure whether or not they're going to get the ball.
I agree. This is a similar situation to how I view New England's backfield, the Lions' backfield. There's good players there and there's value to be had, but you don't know which player is going to get the work.
Yeah.
So I would not be interested in playing Rojo or Uncle Lenny going forward until we see some
Uncle
more
Lenny.
clarity going.
He's got to get
out of this
T-shirts that say
backfield.
that.
Yeah, I like that one. I'm going to take the Bucs. Fear the deer.
I'm going to go Chargers.
I'm going with the Bucs.
All right. Russell Wilson.
Say fear the deer.
I did. They're the Bucs.
Yeah.
Russell Wilson has been incredible.
Wild.
So and good. He gets to play the Dolphins. So he's the first quarterback in NFL history to start a season with 3 straight games with 4 or more touchdown passes. I think he makes it 4 against Miami. Senni, can you name one of the 2 star receivers on the Seahawks?
I'm just picturing like their jerseys.
Yeah.
Is it like
Vince knows. I saw
Tyler
that.
something?
Oh, you're on the right track.
I'm like picturing it.
This is Tory Black's favorite team, Senni. You got to get it.
Lockett?
Yeah, he got it. That's 1.
Okay.
So you get to ice one of us.
I'm going to do Vince.
All right, Vince, when you come back with that ice...
Probably doesn't even know it's him
yeah,
as he comes back.
When you come back, you got to get it in frame next to Senni.
It's you.
I'm going to continue talking while Vince does this. And when you edit it, Vince, just have yourself doing the ice. You have to cut to me. Okay. People can listen to me.
Do whatever that Bellini thing is that I've never heard of.
Oh, peach Bellini?
Yeah, I've still never heard of this until like recently.
Disgusting.
Delicious. I think both of the receivers are must-starts each and every week, including this one, which I think could get ugly really fast. Chris Carson got injured late in the game. Right now, the Seahawks are calling it a knee sprain and believe he'll miss 1 or 2 weeks. But in the event he misses this game, would you be interested in replacing Carson with Carlos Hyde, Justin?
So we talked about Hyde earlier in the year on whether or not he's actually going to be anything.
Yeah.
I really don't think he is.
Okay.
So maybe for 1 week, I would try to find someone else or see who I have on my bench. I don't know that I would waste a roster spot on Carlos Hyde.
See, I think if I had Carson, I would play Hyde. It isn't the same situation as Mike Davis last week, where I felt like he had tremendous value regardless of whether or not you had CMC.
Yeah.
But Carlos Hyde, I think, is going to get the most work. I think Travis Homer will get most of the passing down work. So I would play him if I needed someone, but I do agree that he's not going to have a monster day.
Yeah.
He's not going to be phenomenal. As for the Dolphins, I think Devontae Parker and Mike Gesicki are the only ones that you want to start each and every week. But it is worth noting that Myles Gaskin is the clear lead back in this offense, and he dominated the touches with 22 carries.
I had to pick him up, yeah.
Yeah. He should only be started as a flex, I think. But if you're desperate, you could definitely do worse than Myles Gaskin.
Yeah.
I think Seattle wins big.
Oh, yeah. Seattle's going to win this one.
I don't think you can even question it. It's Seattle.
Yeah. Could you imagine Fitzmagic upset?
No better guy to do it than him.
Yeah. You either get Fitzmagic or you get Fitztragic.
Yep.
Moving on to the Minnesota Vikings and the Houston Texans. The Vikings offense took a step in the right direction over the weekend. Still lost, but better than they were. And Dalvin Cook totaled 199 total scrimmage yards along with 2 touchdowns. The passing game still seems to be lacking in identity, but Justin Jefferson broke out a bit in this one. He finished with 175 yards and a touchdown on 7 catches. Adam Thielen still scored in this game, but he only had 29 yards on 3 catches. Justin, is Justin Jefferson's success on Sunday sustainable throughout the season?
I think it depends on Cousins. If Cousins can get him the ball, then yeah, I would say it's sustainable, but it's a 1 week show, and Cousins does not look great this year.
Yep.
So I would probably err on the side of caution with moving forward with him.
I think he's worth rostering.
Yeah.
He's one of my favorite sleepers coming into the year.
Yeah.
If he slots in as the guy opposite Thielen the way Diggs was, both receivers can have fantasy value going forward. But I do agree, Kirk Cousins does not look good so far this season. It is a bit dependent on that. And rookie wide receivers usually take a year to develop. So I think it's a wait-and-see approach, but I would rather wait and see with him on my bench than on waivers.
Yeah.
If you have the spot, I'd say pick him up. Is Houston any good? Are we sure that Houston's a good team?
I don't think they're a good team.
Yeah, they had a brutal start in scheduling. So last year's AFC South champions are now 0-3. The receiving core has been up and down so far. David Johnson has been held in check after a good performance in Week 1. Are you panicking on the Texans, Justin, or is this the week they turn it around?
I think it's just a hectic organization. I mean, they did play a great defense this past week, but even still, Johnson still scored. Will Fuller still scored. I think there's cause for concern, but I wouldn't hit the panic button just yet. But maybe give it another week or so, and then you could reach for that button.
Yeah. Is it cause or pause? Can you Google that? Cause or pause for concern? I think it's pause.
I really thought it was cause for concern.
Well, we'll find out. In the meantime, while Vince Googles that, I think the Texans win, but I don't feel very confident about the pick.
Yeah, I'm going to go Texans.
I'd like to see them come away with a win.
They're both 0-3 teams, so somebody's got to win, right? Or they could be 0-3-1. It could be like an Eagles-Bengals situation.
God, I hate
Just
the
not even
fucking-
be able to beat Cincinnati.
I love it.
Next, 2 1-2 teams face off in Detroit on Sunday, and God, I would love for the Saints to lose this game. We have the Saints and the Lions. They're using Kamara the way they should, which is good, and he looks every bit the fantasy superstar you drafted. I think he would be number 1 if we redrafted today.
Yeah.
Michael Thomas says he expects to play this week, and if that's the case, then he's the only other Saint you should feel comfortable starting. Jared Cook is meh. He left last week's game with an injury. I'd shy away from starting him unless you're desperate, if he even plays. Detroit snapped an 11-game losing streak against the Cardinals, and the return of Kenny Golladay certainly aided Senni's third favorite quarterback, Matthew Stafford. What do you expect to see from Golladay in his second game back?
I'm looking for a big day.
You think so?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good matchup.
Yeah, good matchup. I like Golladay. He's got chemistry with Stafford, so I think it'll be a good day.
Yeah, he'll likely see a shadow from Marshawn Lattimore in this game.
Yeah.
But he has not been the dominant player that we're used to, so I'm not afraid of him yet.
No.
If he proves me wrong, that'll be one thing. But right now, I'm not afraid of Marshawn Lattimore. I'll go at him all day. Fuck the Saints. I picked the Lions.
Ooh, I'm still going to pick the Saints.
No, I like Stafford. I like Peterson. I hate the Saints.
Yes!
I'm going with Detroit.
All right, Vince, what do you got? Pause or cause?
Okay, so something worrisome can give you a pause or a cause for concern. But some people confuse the two expressions and they say a pause for concern.
So cause is correct.
Cause is correct.
Oh, okay.
Pause for concern is a combination of two things.
Okay. I see. All right. You take the W on that one,
All
Justin.
right. I'd rather have the win
I've
in
personally
fantasy.
never heard pause for concern.
I've heard people say it.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think I say it. I'm not sure which one I say.
It's common enough at the talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, must
Yeah.
be.
Okay. Browns and Cowboys. Cleveland appears to be on the right track with running the ball down their opponents' throats. Senni, can you name one of the running backs on the Browns?
Yeah, Nick Chubb, who I fucking have
Oh,
on
yeah.
my
I forgot he
team.
had him. I forgot he had him. Okay, you get to give out another.
That's on you.
Yeah. I'll eat the L. Justin, how do you feel about the matchup for Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt?
I like it. The Cowboys' defense, fantasy-wise, this year is averaging negative 1.7 points a game. So I had high hopes for their defense. That was a good one.
Yeah, that was really quick.
Coming into the year, but they're
have to talk soon.
proving me wrong. And, yeah, I think good game for Chubb and Hunt, and start anybody on the Browns.
I like Hunt slightly more this week because I think they'll have to play from behind a bit more. Odell and Landry aren't having explosive games, and
No
I don't
shit.
think
Yeah.
I don't think that'll change much because this team's gonna want to run all the time.
Yeah.
But this week I boost Hunt a little bit. I boost Landry and Beckham because I think the Cowboys are going to lead for most of the game. The Dallas offense is a fantasy goldmine.
Yeah.
Pretty much any of their main weapons are weekly starters. The only note I have on them going forward is to not buy into the one big game from Cedric Wilson. He had 2 touchdowns last week. Sort of erupted out of nowhere, but it came out of nowhere. 0 targets the first 2 weeks. I don't think he's a thing.
No.
Unless one of the receivers get hurt. If CeeDee Lamb were to go down with injury, that would boost his value. But he's still the 4th receiver on the depth chart, and Sunday's monster game, I think, is a statistical outlier.
Yeah.
I say Dallas wins big.
Yeah, Dallas.
Obviously, you got to start Dak if you haven't at this point, right?
Yeah.
You got him, yeah.
I'm going with Dallas.
All right.
Gallup finally showed up for you.
He did. I needed him.
You had him on the bench.
Yep. I needed him in another league. I
Yeah.
did need him. And I won that league. I lucked out. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
Now, for this week's game of the week, the Jags versus the Bengals. Justin, how do you view James Robinson this week against Cincinnati and for the season going forward?
He's showing to be a stud. I say start him if you got him. If you can pick him up, pick him up. He's had great beginning of the year, producing yards and touchdowns.
Yep.
So
He's the clear lead back on this
Yeah.
offense. He looks quick and agile, passes the eye test, so to speak. I view him as a fine running back, too, going forward. I expect him to do well this week against the Bengals. As for Cincinnati, Joe Mixon has been struggling on the ground with only 164 rushing yards through the first 3 weeks. We saw the slow start with Mixon last year. Do you think he can turn it around again, Justin?
I hope not, because I don't like him.
Okay.
I don't have him on any teams. But, I mean, yeah, we saw what he did last year, so I think he can. From my bias, I hope he doesn't.
Okay. I think it's dependent on the offensive line. If they
Which
start
sucks.
to gel.
Yeah.
If they start to gel, he could get better. That sort of happened as the year went on
Yeah.
last year. But I'd be nervous if I was a Joe Mixon owner. He's not into drop territory yet, but I'd certainly be open to trading him if I could get something in return. Tyler Boyd and Joe Burrow look like they found a steady connection, and Boyd ranks just outside my top 10 in his position this week. He's been the lead receiver on that team. I think he has more value than A.J. Green, clearly.
I think he does, yeah.
I view Tyler Boyd as a wide receiver 2-ish for the rest of the year. I have him higher this week because of the matchup, and A.J. Green I think is only a flex from here on out.
Yep.
I think the Bengals get their first win.
Yep, Bengals.
I'm going with Jacksonville.
I thought for sure you were going to pick the Jags. You love the Jags.
Picked him last
No,
week.
I still
and they-
like the Jags, and I'm staying with the Jags.
Okay. Next up, Indianapolis Colts at the Chicago Bears. Jonathan the Toolman Taylor is a must-start every week going forward, despite the committee feel from Sunday's game. Even if Hines and Wilkins continue to cut into his workload, the talent and efficiency is still sky high for him. We talked a bit about this last week, Justin, but T.Y. Hilton had only 3 catches for 52 yards and only 3 targets. Are you done with T.Y. at this point of the season?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he didn't do a goddamn thing against the goddamn Jets.
No.
So
He's putting me in this chair, pulling out of that football multiple times.
Yeah, he
so
sure
he ain't
has.
doing anything for me.
It's a shame. He had a conversation with his grandma last week, and she said that he doesn't look like T.Y., but that didn't make him play any better, so...
Can you imagine hearing that from your grandma?
Yeah.
It's like the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
Well, I hope my grandma never calls me about the podcast. I hope she never sees this. As for Da Bears, Trubisky got benched in favor of Nick Foles. If Foles is able to hold on to this starting job, I know he's the starter this week if he's the starter going forward. I think Allen Robinson, too, and Jimmy Graham stand to benefit the most. Robinson was a weekly starter anyway, but Graham scored twice on Sunday and had the second most targets on the team with 9. I don't think that level of success is repeatable, but with Foles under center, I think Graham is a solid pickup if you need a bye week fill-in or an injury replacement. You saw Foles love throwing to the tight ends when he was in Philly. I think that he views Graham as an athletic tight end, which he is, in fairness.
Yeah.
The opportunity usually isn't there, but with Nick Foles, I think his value gets a major boost.
Yeah.
All that being said, I think the Colts win.
I'm going to go Bears.
I'm going with the Colts.
All right. Arizona Cardinals at the Carolina Panthers. I don't know why I said that so weirdly. I think that ice is hitting me.
Yeah.
Kyler Murray will look to bounce back against Carolina after throwing 3 picks against the Lions on Sunday. I think he will turn it around, and I think DeAndre Hopkins will continue to keep up this historical pace. But Kenyon Drake has not looked good so far this year. If I were a Kenyon Drake owner, I think I'd be looking to trade him. I'd hope for him to have a good week this week against a weak Panther defense, and then if you wanted to wait, next week they get the Jets. That could be another great game for him. That would put his value, I think, at the highest it's going to be. He's never been a workhorse. He can't keep up this workload.
Yeah.
And he's not an efficient runner. He never was.
Right.
So I'd be out on Kenyon Drake. I haven't been in on him. But with this matchup and the next matchup, I think you can get a nice haul for him if you can find somebody willing to trade for him. On the Panthers, Mike Davis filled in nicely for CMC as he led the team in targets and receptions. Through the first 3 weeks, Robbie Anderson appears to be the clear number one on the Carolina offense, which is surprising to all of us. After getting just 2 catches on Sunday, are you nervous about DJ Moore?
A little bit. He had a solid turnout in week 2. I think it was like 120 some yards. He's still very talented, but I would be a little nervous. Considering how well Robbie Anderson's been playing since coming there. I would be a little bit nervous.
It's still early in the season, so I agree. I'm not panicking on DJ Moore. It is frustrating to see the guy that you thought was going to get the most targets be the number 2 on the team for the moment. But I do think that he's still the number 1 talent. I think he's better than Robbie Anderson, and I think eventually that'll show. I think the Cardinals bounce back after a tough loss.
I'm going to go Panthers.
I'm going Arizona.
All right, crack your beers, my dudes. It is time for Thirsty Thursday. Thursday's game is a great one. We have the Denver Broncos and the New York Jets. Denver's offense looked pretty lost on Sunday without Drew Lock. Jeff Driscoll got benched late in the game, but it's still possible that he's the starter on Thursday at the time of this recording anyway. If he gets benched for the boat, I'd be all in on this offense. I'd love to see Blake Bortles play this damn game. But for now, I'd only advise starting Melvin Gordon 3 and Noah Fant, who I expect to have nice games against the goddamn Jets. For now, Jerry Jeudy is only a desperate flex play for me, but his value obviously gets boosted this week than playing the Jets. The beer I am drinking today is called Hopatronic Lupulicitor, and it is brewed with Citra and Galaxy hops. It's part of a series by River North in Denver. This beer is really tasty. It's got a little nice subtle hopness to it, but it's a fruity bit. It's got a bit of a fruity flavor. Really smooth, really easy to drink. I give it a high rating. You have to follow us on Instagram to see it. I'm not telling you what I give it. I think Denver's going to win the game. Justin, tell us what you're drinking. Tell us about the Jets, and tell us who you think is going to win.
All right, well, I'm excited to tell you what I'm drinking. I am drinking Incandenza from Hudson Valley Brewery. Pretty can. Got like a sunset or some shit on it. It's a sour IPA with Galaxy. Almost has like a wine sort of taste to it. You get that dry finish on. You look fucking ridiculous. a wine finish on the end. You get that little bit of hot bite. I can't look at them while I'm doing this. But yeah, so sadly, I guess I got to talk about the goddamn Jets.
Please.
This team's a goddamn mess. I think the only person on the team that I wouldn't even be comfortable starting him is Jamison Crowder.
If he even plays.
Yeah, if he even plays. But there's no bright spots on the team. I guess the only bright spot would be the other team that they're playing. If you have anybody on that team, start them. I am picking the Broncos.
Before we get to Senni, do you know who led the Jets in receiving yards on Sunday?
No.
Braxton Berrios.
That sounds like a cereal in Romania.
It does.
Yeah, that shows you how shitty the Jets are. Okay, Senni, tell us who you think is going to win this game, and please tell us what you're drinking.
So I actually went to a brewery without my friends for once. This is actually in my, do you say hometown at this point?
Yeah, it's the town you live in.
My hometown of Audubon at Red, White, and Brew. It's called Paul's Midnight Ride. It says porter, whatever that means. I'm not going to act like I know what it means. I think it's pretty solid, and I'm going with Frank Gore for the win.
Oh, Senni's got the Jets. Frank Gore, 7 rushing touchdowns. Let's move on to our late games. The first one we're going to cover is the New York Giants at the Los Angeles Rams. Senni, can you name an active player on the Giants?
An active player, too, because I know the dude who you guys put all that faith in.
Yeah, Barkley tore his ACL, so he doesn't count.
Is Golden Tate
Oh, my God. Yeah, he is. Yeah.
It's just because I think that I have Golden Tate in one of the leagues.
You got it right.
Because I don't think otherwise that I would have any Giants players.
I'm shocked. I did not expect
I'm pretty confident I have Golden Tate.
Yeah, well, you are correct. So is it Justin's turn?
Yes, it's Justin's turn.
Okay. I got it.
Is it the Bellini?
No.
God, this is the 3rd time in a row I've got green apple.
So the Giants are heading out west to take on the Rams. I have to ask you a question, but I guess I'm not going to ask you. I guess I'll ask Senni because I think the answer will be the same. Are there any Giants players that you'd feel comfortable starting this week? No is the correct answer. They are a shit show. That was awesome.
That was
really fast. That's the way it's supposed to go. Wow. I got to take a second to drink that in. Yeah, so don't start anybody on the Giants. They can't run the ball. They can't pass the ball. They're playing a good defense. I am very disappointed. I'm very sad. If I don't kill myself, we'll talk about how badly they did next week. As for the Rams, Darrell Henderson went off last week with 20 carries for over 100 yards and a touchdown. If Cam Akers were to miss this game, I like Henderson to have another nice day at home against the Giants. And the receiving options for the Rams should also have nice games.
Yeah.
They both played well on Sunday. You can pretty much score on the Giants however you want to. I'll take the Rams by a lot.
Yeah, I'm going with the Rams too.
I'll go with New York.
Okay. Doesn't make me feel any better.
No, I know, but I figured that they need one at this point. So
Our second 4 o'clock game. Best quarterback in the NFL, Josh Allen, looks to keep his hot streak going against Gruden's Raiders. If Zach Moss sits out another week, I do like Devin Singletary as an RB2 against Vegas. John Brown is dealing with a calf injury, which forced him out of last week's game and propelled Cole Beasley to 100 receiving yards in his absence. If Brown is forced to miss this game, Diggs stands to benefit the most, but I do think that Beasley is a fine flex play. Again, only if John Brown were to sit out. As for the Raiders, you're obviously starting Josh Jacobs and Darren Waller this week. Don't look too far into Waller's poor Week 3 performance. Belichick is known for taking away a team's best player.
He was playing with an injury too, right?
No, Josh Jacobs.
I thought that he was.
I thought Waller was on the
I
injury
thought Waller
report.
had some kind of injury, didn't he?
If he did, it wasn't.
It wasn't anything serious,
No,
but
but I do remember
Josh
there being
Jacobs.
something.
Josh Jacobs left the previous week's game with a hip injury.
Yeah.
and he was limited throughout the week. I don't remember hearing anything about Waller, but
He was questionable.
you're his owner, so
Yeah, that's why I'm saying.
I was like, whoa, hey-oh. Anyway, don't panic about his poor
Yeah.
performance in Week 3. He's still their best player.
It says knee.
Okay.
Knee. Whatever that means.
Yeah. But Justin, also on the Raiders, Hunter Renfrow secured 6 of 9 targets for 84 yards and a touchdown. Are you chugging or dumping his ability to post flex-worthy numbers this week?
I think flex is about all that he can post. So I'll drink it. I'm not going to chug it.
Okay.
I'm going to enjoy that beer on the porch.
Okay. I'm going to dump it. Henry Ruggs missed that last game, which I think boosted the need to throw to Hunter Renfrow. I do like Hunter Renfrow a lot, but I think he's more of like a nice real-life player than an actual fantasy asset. I'm going to take the Raiders in an upset in this game.
Yeah, I'm going Raiders too.
No, I'm going Buffalo.
Buffalo. Senni's riding the hot train.
The way you said.
Yeah, well, he knows Josh Allen's the best quarterback in the league.
That's
so.
true. Our
just-
Uber driver
They're
knew
just
that
playing
too.
so well.
Yeah, nothing to doubt. Our last late game is the New England Patriots at the Kansas City Chiefs. That should be a good one.
It's going to be a good game.
You're starting your Chiefs. After what you saw them do to Baltimore, I don't think there's much to discuss about that team. Last week was a down passing game for New England as they decided to run the ball down the throat of Las Vegas. Rex Burkhead scored 3 times in that game.
You didn't call him dickhead this week.
I didn't because he scored 3 touchdowns. Are you buying him as a legit running back option?
I still think it's so hard to trust any kind of Patriots running option. So I mean, apart from Cam Newton, but he's obviously not a running back. I wouldn't buy into him just because you never know what week it's going to be that he's going to go off.
I agree. I was trying to trip you up. He is Rex Dickhead. These are the types of reasons that he is a dickhead because he'll score 3 touchdowns and the next week he'll have 2 catches for 3 yards.
Yeah.
Especially if James White comes back. The offense, it's the same situation as the Lions, same situation as the Ravens. There are too many bodies there for any of them to have standalone value. I like Edelman and Harry in this game as well.
Yeah.
I expect New England to have to throw more to keep up with Kansas City's awesome offense. I say the Chiefs win.
I think Belichick's going to find a way. I'm going New England.
No, I'm going with Chiefs.
All right, let's get into some Sunday night football.
We've been waiting all day for Sunday night.
Senni, what have you been waiting all day for?
I've been waiting all day to talk about bearded dragons. So, Justin and I were talking about how he is pet sitting a bearded dragon, and I just think it's funny that.
No, I was talking with my coworker about him.
Okay, then I obviously misread it. Either way, the fact that anybody else owns one, I think, is funny.
Yeah.
I actually know somebody on social media who's been putting like their bearded dragon in all their pictures. So I've had a bearded dragon for 5 years now. When I was young, I had one, and it died. And after like years and years, I decided in college that I wanted another one that I was older and responsible enough to do it. So it's one of those pets that a lot of people consider. So I want to give you guys the pros and cons to owning a bearded dragon as somebody who is more experienced than your average person. All right. So I'm going to start with the pros. They live in a cage, so it's not like you have to clean up after them all that much. It's called a tank, technically.
Number one thing about owning a bearded dragon, they live in cages.
True. They're small and they're easy to carry around. Unlike, my dog who's massive. You have like a big dog, you obviously can't carry it. They're cool to look at, right? That's the big thing. Everybody looks at them. They're cool to look at. My wife decided to say that they feel good to touch. So I guess it's got nice texture.
Yeah.
It's exciting when they do literally anything because they're so unexciting, really.
I've never seen him do a goddamn thing.
My wife and I literally, she's like, oh yeah, he'll do this. And then she was like, but he only did that once. I saw him drink water once. Coolest thing ever. He'll sit peacefully, if you just want to, have him lay on you. You get to watch them eat crickets. That's why, any kid gets a bearded dragon, right?
That's true.
They literally do not make a sound. They don't make noise. I can't even imagine what noise they would make. They're very docile. If you're not stupid, like I was as a kid, they live a very long time, apparently. And you get to say that you have, a pet dragon, right? It's cool. I have a dragon, whatever. My cons list is longer. You have to buy...
Pretty long list.
You have to buy crickets. You have to give them vitamins and give them baths pretty frequently, which I don't do. You have to buy new bulbs all the time, and if you just nudge the thing wrong, the bulb could break, and you have to go buy a new one at 5 in the morning. Whenever I took him somewhere, I had to move the entire tank, and it's a very big tank. I don't know if you guys have noticed.
Yeah.
You need to get a bigger tank at some point as they get bigger. You can't have two together. If you guys have never told you this, my nightmare fuel is there being multiple bearded dragons in the tank. It's the scariest thing in the world to me.
Do they just fight?
Exactly. It's the scariest thing ever. They're not affectionate at all, which my wife argued. You'll never feel love from this kind of pet. They sleep most of the time. We were talking about how you wake up every day and you basically think they're dead. I literally put mine on the log under the lamp every single day. When I try to feed him, he's stubborn. My biggest fear about him is taking him outside because my dad said once as a kid that a bird could come and grab him. So imagine I just walk outside for a second and a fucking bird I'd be traumatized, right?
Yeah.
Never be the same. Never allow him around other.
Imagine.
You don't have him around other pets, right? I'm worried that my dog is gonna bite him in half one day. That's another traumatizing thing.
Well, your dog definitely would. So.
Exactly. People tend to think you're weird if you own a reptile in the first place. You got to keep them in the heat all the time. There's always a light on. When you clean the tank, it's pretty gross. And lastly, you never actually know if you're doing a good job at taking care of this pet.
I never thought about that.
Yeah, dogs will wag their tail. What's
Yeah.
a bearded dragon gonna do?
I have no clue if this pet has ever liked me. So yeah, I would say there's more cons, but obviously I own one, so do I now.
Yeah. Senni's the biggest gratification he gets is when he just picks it up and chucks it to make sure it's not dead.
That's the most interaction we have on a daily basis.
I wonder what he's thinking when he gets picked up and just tossed.
This morning I was thinking if he could
Thanks,
talk, if he could talk, will he just tell me that he fucking hates me?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah. Well, on that note, let's talk about the Eagles. They're 0-2-1, and they take up the banged-up 49ers in the Sunday night matchup this week. Who do you like on the Eagles this week, Justin?
Miles Sanders.
Zach Ertz?
So I think I would like Zach Ertz more if Goddard wasn't hurt because I feel like the 49ers might try to focus on him more because he's one of their only, probably their best receiving target.
Right, he definitely is.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's hard to not like Zach Ertz. I guess I would say I like him.
Yeah. I think that they're both starters, obviously. I don't think you're benching either of them.
No.
That is an interesting take, though, on Zach Ertz being more valuable when Dallas Goedert is healthy. I actually think the opposite. I think Zach Ertz is going to have a bigger day because Dallas Goedert isn't healthy. So we'll see who's right on that. Another name I'm keeping an eye on is Greg Ward. Due to injuries
He's like
piling
the only
up,
thing they have.
They don't want him to be the number one wide receiver, but he fucking is.
Yeah.
He had 11 targets last week. I like him as a flex play
He's
going
the bearded
forward.
dragon you put under the lamp.
He is. He's the guy you just trot out there, make sure he's still alive. When Deshaun Jackson inevitably gets a soft tissue injury, toss him out there.
Yep.
When the rest of your receivers get banged up or busted draft picks, just trot him on out there.
Yep.
Make sure he's still breathing. I don't know if he loves them, but
if he's ever going to talk to them.
yeah.
I can't believe you guys could take it that far, that metaphor.
The 49ers trashed the Giants, and they now have 2 more wins in MetLife Stadium than the Jets and Giants combined. Raheem Mostert may be able to play this week, which would cap the upside of Jerick McKinnon and Jeff Wilson Jr. But if he were to sit another week, I do think both are solid flex plays. They both got enough work to post fantasy relevant numbers. I like both guys. I think this is a situation where it's more of a committee than people realize.
Oh, yeah.
So I like both of them. I think they're both good enough to put up numbers against Philly. I'm still not starting a 49ers pass catcher who isn't named George Kittle, but he also may return this week.
Yeah, I fucking hope he does.
Yeah. Well, you kind of need him. You lost Goddard, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have no one.
There's also been rumors that Deebo Samuel may be able to play in this game. And if he is, I'm okay with starting him.
I like the name Debo.
It's a great name.
Have to imagine it's a nickname.
Yeah. Do you know where it's from?
The South? Or what is it called?
The South.
Oh, my God. It's from a movie called Friday.
Oh.
Yeah. That's where he got the nickname.
Yeah. Okay. The South.
So do yourself some history and watch the movie.
Friday, yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to take the 49ers.
Yeah, I'm taking the 49ers after that.
All right. How about that? Matt Lamar will be furious.
Yeah, he would.
Yeah.
Our guys don't even got a fucking chance.
All right. Last game of the week, we have our Monday night matchup between the Atlanta Falcons and the Green Bay Packers. The Falcons are fucking hilarious.
They're the most interesting team to watch.
Oh my God!
But for the wrong reasons.
It's a roller coaster every week. I saw a stat. No team has ever lost in the last 20 years. No team has lost 2 games when they led by 15 points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
In 2 games in a season. The Falcons did it back-to-back weeks.
Wow.
Their fantasy players are no joke though.
Oh yeah.
Senni, who's the number 1 wide receiver in fantasy football so far this year?
Julio Jones, I would think. Are we talking about Atlanta?
In the whole league.
Oh, in the whole league? I have no idea.
Well, take a guess.
In the whole league?
Yeah. It's going to be a player on the Falcons or the Packers.
I can tell you it's not Mike Thomas.
I know it's not Mike Thomas.
Yeah.
I have no clue.
Okay. You were on the right track with Julio, but it's his teammate, Calvin Ridley.
Okay.
He has been amazing
so
far this season. He went over 100 yards again this past week. Julio's missed the last game. He missed last week, and the week before he only had like 2 catches. So he's been a bust. I have a league where I have Michael Thomas and Julio Jones. I'm not having a good time.
Which means he's still throwing. Matt Ryan is still...
Oh, he has to. His arm is going to fall off.
consistently.
His arm
Probably
is
have
gonna
more
fall
wins
off.
than me in that league too.
Yeah, I have 1.
Yeah, there you go. That's more than me.
If we were redrafting today, I think Calvin Ridley would be the number 1 wide receiver other than DeAndre Hopkins, maybe Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
He's just been incredible.
Yeah.
Julio and Russell Gage are both nursing injuries. I'd expect Ridley's dominance to continue another week. I don't care if they play or not. He's still the guy I want the most on this offense. Hopefully, Gage and Julio are able to play this week, but remember, this is a game played on Monday night, so if you're banking on them playing, make sure you have another player that you can plug in should they be game time decisions. The Packers are red hot right now, and you should continue to start your errands. Devontae Adams has a chance to play in this game, but if he doesn't, are you trusting Allen Lazard to step in for him again this week after burning the Saints on Sunday night?
I think I would. I mean, Rodgers is playing well enough where he can get the ball to anyone. Last week, had 6 catches, 146 yards, and a touchdown with 2 touchdowns on the league or on the in the year. Yeah. So I think he'd be a fine fill-in, not really a replacement. But
Yeah, I agree. I think that him and MVS both have about the same value. I wouldn't say that I trust either of them because I think it could be either.
Yeah.
I think Allen Lazard is my preference if I had a choice. I think Green Bay wins this game.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, Green Bay.
Okay. Thanks.
I'm going to go with the upset and say Atlanta.
Atlanta. Senni, I can't wait for the Falcons to be up by 30 on Monday night and then lose. Find a way to lose. So next up, Senni is going to drink some hot dog water.
The worst part is like if I just taste it and then I immediately hate it, then it just makes it like worse.
Do you want to bring that trash can closer just in case you got a
just
yak?
in case.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
I mean, I know that I am going to puke, but like whatever, we'll see.
Oh, no, man.
Not eating a whole fucking chocolate bar, you know.
Hey. Which hot dog are you taking?
Are you ready to start drinking that, Senni?
Yeah, what the fuck?
All right. I'm gonna take the one. I'm gonna take this one.
Dude, it's really gross.
Yeah, you didn't think it was gonna be. Did
No,
you?
I really didn't think it was gonna be that bad. I guess I forgot that I
use both.
really don't like hot
shaking it
dogs.
Yeah, you don't even like hot dogs?
I'll eat a hot dog, but it's not like my preferred. Like I've had hot dogs. You guys ever hear this story? Are we on camera?
Yeah, you're okay.
When I was in first grade,
Yeah, just mustard.
when I was in first grade, St. Paul's had like a chicken drumstick thing, and my parents didn't know it was chicken drumstick, so they didn't order it for me. So at St. Paul's, if you didn't get the main meal, you had to get a hot dog or a hamburger, but you had to request it in advance. So I didn't get a hamburger or the chicken, so I had to get a hot dog. And I dead ass cried in the middle of the cafeteria because I had to eat a hot dog. And Taylor Stedman, who was like ate hot dogs every day, was like consoling me as I cried about the fact that I had to eat a hot dog.
Well, now you have to drink hot
And I
dog
had to
water.
drink it.
Let's get to it. Oh God, he's really down in it. How's it taste, buddy?
I mean, it tastes like water, but like I do taste that I'm drinking like a hot dog. It could be worse, but it's still not fun.
The actual hot dog tastes pretty good.
It's not the taste, it's the smell. The
Yeah.
smell is like, ugh. It's also that it's hot.
Yeah.
It's like tea. It's like hot dog tea.
I can't think of anything worse that I would want to drink.
It tastes like hot dogs though.
Oh yeah. It's just like as soon as I bring it up here, it's like just get a whiff. Ugh.
Part of me wants to try it, but that's his punishment. So
No, you don't want to try it.
I'm gonna eat this hot dog instead. No, I don't even like hot dogs. It's not a bad hot dog.
Not bad. Then you want to try a hot dog?
I wonder if I'm getting any protein out of this.
I doubt it.
You get that skim,
I know,
like you get the
there's no
film that
way, yeah.
floats on the top.
Is there even protein in a hot dog?
Oh yeah, it's all hot. It's all protein. It's all protein and fat. It's
Yeah,
the part of the
keto-friendly.
pig that isn't good enough to be in bacon.
Yeah.
You don't have to eat the whole thing if you don't want to.
There's a nose in the
you want a
asshole.
bite? You can come eat some. Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna eat the hot dog.
Yeah, Justin's already chowing it down. Sonny's getting closer. You're really down.
You done?
Oh God, Jesus, man.
Try to do not. Yeah, why are you wearing that helmet?
I thought it'd be funny.
I didn't have dinner tonight, so I guess I just...
That was your dinner?
Yeah, I just had some dinner.
That didn't torture you as much as I thought it was going to. Actually.
It smelled way worse than it tasted.
Okay.
You want a third of a hot dog?
Yeah,
There you go.
All right, wash that down. Wash down your hot dog water with a real hot dog, like a real man.
Any more of his hot dogs?
No, it's all you, Vince. But I do want you to come stand next to me and eat it while I read this, so that everybody can see.
The
you know.
water was better than the hot dog.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. How
I know it
about
doesn't
that?
like hot dog. It was good. I enjoyed the hot dog. But like this tasted more like a hot dog, as weird as that sounds. Like the essence of what I think a hot dog is was more in the water.
Well, that's going to do it for this week's podcast. We'll be with you every Wednesday on YouTube, and audio-only podcasts are available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Pandora. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at FantasyBeerLG. Those are the words Fantasy Beer and the letters L and G. As always, please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more half-decent advice from half-decent guys. I'm Sean Joyce. He's Justin Giel. And here's our glizzy gladiator, Matthew Senni, with his advice of the week.
If you do end up getting a bearded dragon, you get a mat, not sand, because the bearded dragon will eat the sand and die. So you get a green mat.
All right. Good luck in week 4. Thanks for sticking with us.